Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. Yep, so this is a one-half format. Me sitting in the chair. I was just getting some treatment a few days ago, and my foot is still swollen, so it's a bit hard to sit on the ground. Yep. But hopefully nothing serious, nothing long-term. Probably goes away in a couple of weeks. And yep, as some of you know, been away in Thailand and in Vietnam for the last month. After the robe offering ceremony at Wat Buddha Dhamma, went to the Katina, Ajahn monastery, and then spent a couple of days at Luang Por Peak. And then went across to Vietnam to visit about 3 Theravada monasteries there. And there we had extended our trip for an extra week just to finish off the treatment that we were getting. Yeah, so I've been away a month, yeah. And first impression of being back, yeah, it's great to be back. Realizing, we do have a very good situation here, good place to practice. In Vietnam, it rained every single day, so it's very damp the whole time. Half the roads was moldy. But what the impressions were, it's great. I always, of course, go to the Katina ceremony at Bunya Wat, being with the Sangha, being with Ajahn Tan, and then visiting Luang Por Peak for a couple of days. And good news is that Luang Por Peak is also confirmed that he is coming, visiting Australia again next year. What day was that? I think after Songkran. I remember correctly, after Songkran. Yep, doing that, which is mid-April. I'll come mid-April to beginning of May. And Ajahn Tan is penciled in after the 15th of March. There is an invitation he has to go to on the 11th of March. So they're probably leaving by the mid-March to be over here. Yep. So it's good. We have this connection with these 2 very highly esteemed monks coming regularly to the monastery to offer reflection on Dhamma. And going over to Vietnam, it's just, as some of you know, there is a group looking to establish a monastery up in Brisbane. So they have a piece of land, and the group is mostly the Vietnamese Theravadan group. So I've been trying to make a connection in Vietnam, hopefully to invite some monks over there to start something, but we'll see. Because it's very different from, sort of different. It's more of the city monastery in Vietnam than the forest monastery that you have in Thailand. But there's still situation. There are monasteries. Hopefully, there are good monks practicing eventually. And I don't know, the thing that strikes me when I come back is just, I know I say it a lot, but it's just a sense of gratitude and appreciation for, having this place to come back to practice to, having the space and the support to cultivate the path each and every day. Yeah, because sometimes, when you go to other monasteries, it's very different. Sometimes it's very busy, and sometimes, people get distracted with different things. And I see with practice, and I can't say it often enough, it is with gratitude and appreciation for the things that we have that wholesome state arises. When you are grateful for something, then contentment arises as a condition of that. And with contentment, it suppresses the 5 hindrances, suppresses the fault-finding mind. It suppresses restlessness, looking around for other things to do. It suppresses all the negativity that can come up in the mind from time to time. We bring up a sense of gratitude and a sense of appreciation. It helps just to lift the mind up, helps to encourage and develop wholesome states. Because unless the mind is happy and content, then it's hard to cultivate samadhi. Stillness comes from that contentment, the appreciation of all the things that we have already, all the things that we've been given, all the help that we received. And so it doesn't searches for more. It doesn't look for perfection in what obviously imperfect world. But with gratitude, the mind just, embraces what is here. It makes what is in samsara, imperfect situation, into near perfection. When you're happy, everything is fine, everything is happy, everything belongs. You're not focusing on, the little things that we sometimes waste time on. Negativities in each other, in ourselves, in the world around us. All that fades away. And when you have gratitude, you have contentment. So with contentment, like I said, it suppresses the 5 hindrances. And with the high 5 hindrances, with the negative mind being suppressed, then wholesome states allowed to happen. It's easier to still the mind. It's easier to meditate. And with samadhi, with stillness, only with that can you truly see clearly our delusion. Where is it that we're making a self out of things? Where is it that we're making a problem for ourselves and others? And how can we grow in the Dhamma? How can we learn to let go of the negative things in our mind and cultivate what is wholesome, what is good, what is beautiful? And what strikes me when I travel around is that, Buddhism is many things. And there's lots of varieties. And yes, of course, there is, sometimes there is, we're the best, we got it right, everybody else get it wrong. That you get going between different monasteries, different sections, different sects and stuff. And but what I really appreciate about Buddhism is that whatever works, you do your thing. But we all still have the opportunity, and I believe we have the good fortune to be associated with really good monks, with good teachings of Ajahn Chah, good teachings of Ajahn Mun and the great masters, good teachings of Ajahn Tan, which helps inspire, which helps focus on the true Dhamma. And like I said, this is a very gradual path. And when I see people getting caught up different things, it's fine. There's always next lifetime, as long as you cultivate wholesome states. As long as you learn to cultivate, the precepts, sila, as long as you learn to cultivate, have a practice of samadhi, then you'll see for yourself eventually what suffering is. Where is it you're making suffering for yourself and others? Where is it through our attachments that we're causing problems for ourselves and others? And when you see clearly, letting go happens. Only then and then. Letting go happens when we see clearly. Until then, you try to cultivate as much as a spiritual perfection as you can. Cultivate generosity, cultivate kindness, cultivate giving people benefit of the doubt, cultivate a sense of contentment, sense of appreciation. Because sometimes we can lose so much time with fault-finding mind, with the restless mind, thinking about different things, different options, different ways to do things. Or sometimes we fall finding with ourselves and others. Where is it that we're making mistakes, dwelling on our own mistakes, other people's mistakes? And so much time can be lost in that world. But hopefully with the understanding of the Dhamma, the teaching, the monks and nuns that you come across to and help encourage that. Of letting go what is unwholesome and cultivate what is good. And the beauty thing about Buddhism is that, we are our own saviors. Only you and yourself, through cultivation of the path of practice, can realize the ultimate Nibbana. Sometimes, we can be inspired, we can listen to lots of talks, but it only gets you so far. It's only through putting the Dhamma into practice, doing the hard work of looking into ourselves, have the humility to see where is it that you're making mistakes, where is it there's unwholesome qualities. When we see clearly, letting go happens. But that being said, it is a gradual process. It is also a joyful process. Each time you let go, each time you cultivate what's wholesome, it brings happiness, it brings joy. It's not always about willpower. It's not always about renunciation of all that you like. Sometimes people say, well, I come here, I've been practicing Buddhism for 20 years, I'm giving it my job, giving it a relationship. I haven't got nothing, Ajahn. I don't have any friends, don't have any samadhi. I'm still grumpy, still depressed. I've done the wrong thing by wasting my time last 20 years practicing the practice. No, I don't think so. When you let go of the world, all you're really letting go of is all the stress and suffering. So I don't have a family. Yeah, you just let go of the stress and suffering of having a family, having a partner, having kids. Let go of the stress and suffering of having a job, having a boss to deal with. But it's true, it is about joy and happiness. So unless you have some of that, unless you learn to cultivate that, to look for it, to nurture it, then the mind can be distracted. It goes into habitual tendencies of doubts, of self-loathing, of being self-critical. All the things that we can do that we know, all the things that we've done wrong, all the things we're doing wrong. We can be overwhelmed by that. Well, that's where the practice of forgiveness, learn to forgive others, learn to forgive yourself. Through forgiveness, you can let go of all the past negativity. We stay in the present, focusing on all the wholesome qualities, all the opportunities we have now to make good karma, to cultivate what is good, what is wholesome, what is beautiful, what is Dhamma. And each and every one of us, the fact that you're here, has been deeply influenced, touched by Dhamma, by the teaching of the Buddha, by the teaching of his great disciples, by the teaching of all the arahants, monks and nuns in the past. There's something that draws you to a monastery. It could be the suffering in lay life, it could be suffering in other things, or it could be the aspiration to what is beautiful, what is truth, what is still. But it does take a focus, a consistency, an effort to always pick yourself up each and every day. To see each and every day as an opportunity to cultivate what is wholesome, to take another step towards the Dhamma, to take another step towards liberation. And yes, as you know, this monastery is far from perfect. Sala, it's a bit noisy. When it's hot, it's really hot. When it's cold, it's really cold. People come and go. Not enough monks here. People tell me, need more monks, or whatever. But it's good enough. You have kutis, monks and lay people. You have good accommodation. You have good enough support to really cultivate the Dhamma. To be in the forest, you've been to travel, you've been to Asia. Yeah, to have space is a rare thing. Asia is, full on. There's people everywhere. Sights and sounds are coming at you. 5 sense world. So to be in a place that's quiet, be in a place that gives you space, in a place that you don't have to devote a lot of time to the necessity of life, that you've got food, you've got shelter, you feel safe, you're not in a war zone. There's a lot of wholesome qualities that you already have. And so don't get distracted by the worldly stuff, of getting more, of distracting yourself with other activities. But you're focusing, when you have time, on the Dhamma, on peace and stillness. In each in your capacity, obviously limited to your current situation, whether you have jobs, family. There's always an opportunity to practice Dhamma. What's an opportunity? You can't sit, you gotta practice kindness, generosity, helping others. And when it's time to sit still, it's easy to cultivate the mind. Because then you've done all that goodness, it helps to settle the mind. But you spend your spare time getting into arguments with others, fault finding. When you sit down, then it's hard to calm the mind. So everything we do, whether we're sitting or whether we're active, it's an opportunity to cultivate the spiritual qualities of peace and kindness, of generosity, of letting go, of forgiveness. Anything else before I close? To talk in terms of the impression, anecdotes from the trips. In Vietnam it rained a lot. There's a big storm in Hue, which is the center of the country. We left just in time, and the whole thing was flooded by then. Now you can see that the world is, Australia. Yeah, we also experience extreme weather in Australia, but it's just not to take things for granted, that things are peaceful here for the moment. You don't know 20, 40 years from now what it'll be like. We try to find ways to cultivate wholesome qualities. But the wholesome quality starts first and foremost with gratitude, appreciation, all the things that you have already, for what you are in the path. You may not be, you feel like not very close to Nibbana, but you're close enough. As long as you keep walking the path, walking towards wholesome qualities, or letting go of unwholesome qualities. So like I said again, it's great to be back here, and I offer those words for your reflection tonight. It's okay. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagawa Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Asavaka Sangho Sanghang Namami